welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a meal prep video. So this is going to be great for those of you who work or just have a busy lifestyle that you need items and food grab and go ready, but that are super healthy and super tasty. So today I'm going to start with some overnight oats. What I did was I took some Honeycrisp apples and cut those up into little pieces. And then you're also going to need a protein powder. You're going to need rolled oats, a sweetener of some kind. I just have stevia. You're going to need ground cinnamon, vanilla extract. You're going to need a plant-based milk of whatever you're choosing. So I'm going to be using the flax milk, which has omega-3s and it also has protein in it. What we're going to be making is a cinnamon apple overnight oat. So you're going to need mason jars. I've got some large mason jars because I like to be able to scoop it out a lot easier, and the smaller jars I find to be a little bit more compact and harder to get the food out. So I go with a larger one, but we're not eating or filling up the whole thing. What you're gonna do is you're going to start with the oats. So you're going to do about a half a cup of oats per jar. Now you could add more oats if you would like, so that it's a little bit more filling or that it fits your macros a little bit better, but this is what works for me and my husband. So I'm gonna do about a half a cup of oats. I'm going to do a half a cup of oats for myself and then maybe a little over a half a cup for my husband. Okay, so now you've got the oats in the jar. You're then going to want to take your protein powder of choice. I went with a plain protein powder, but you can go with a vanilla one. And I'm going to do a full scoop. And I'm going to show you a special trick that helps to incorporate the oats nicely. So similar to baking, you're going to want to incorporate all of the dry goods first. I'm going to add in a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. You could add in more if you would like. This just seems to be what works for me. Alright, so now here's the trick. You're going to take the lid and you're going to shake up the jar. So this way, all your oats and your protein powder are combined well. You're gonna do that with each of the jars. So now at this point, you can add in your apple. I cut up 2 apples, so the plan was to use about a half of an apple per serving. And of course, like I said, you can alter this recipe to fit your macros and your needs however you would like. This is just what is gonna work for me. And now I'm gonna go ahead and add in the sweetener. I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of stevia. Now, depending on the sweetener that you use will depend on probably how much you want to put in. But even though the apple that I chose is a sweeter apple, it's just not enough to sweeten up the oats. But of course, if you have a protein powder that's a little bit higher in sugar, you may not need to add in any sweetener at all. But mine is really low in sugar. And now I'm gonna do the same thing that I did before. I'm gonna go ahead and shake this up so that the apples are well incorporated. So banging on the bottom right before you put in the liquid will help so that the protein powder does not stick to the bottom. So you want it to be lightly packed in there. Okay, so now I'm gonna add in a half a teaspoon of the vanilla extract to each of the jars. Just adds in that little bit of extra flavor. Now, if you were going to be doing this recipe so that all 4 servings were gonna be eaten by you throughout the week, I might suggest not adding in the fluid quite yet. Maybe just leaving it at this point and then the night before adding in the fluid and shaking it up so that way it's not quite as soggy, but that's totally up to you. That may not bother you. So now I'm gonna add in my protein milk. So the rule that I follow is a 2-to-1 ratio of milk to oats. So I'm gonna do a full cup of milk. Okay, and now you're gonna take those jars again and shake them up. I like to put them on their side and shake so that you can try and get that protein powder mixed up as best as you can. And if there's a little bit of protein powder stuck in there, that's okay. You just want to get as much protein powder in there as you can. The milk will eventually loosen up that protein powder. All right, so there you have it. You've got overnight oats. These are cinnamon apple overnight oats, and those will be good to go for you in the morning. All right, so for the next recipe, we're going to do salad in a jar, which this recipe is super customizable. You can pretty much use any ingredients that you want, but I'm just gonna kind of give you an idea as to what you might wanna do. So let me show you what I have. So for my ingredients, I'm using some chopped up bell peppers, some chopped carrots, some chopped up cucumber, and then some beans that I had pre-done, as well as a spring lettuce mix. And then the dressing I'm going to use some sriracha and some balsamic to create a different dressing. Basically what you're going to want to do is start with the wet ingredients down at the bottom of the jar and then build up from there so that way nothing gets soggy. So what I like to do is I start with 2 tablespoons of this Walden Farms balsamic dressing. This has 0 fat, 0 carb, and 0 protein. It has 0 calories, but it does have sodium in it, so I'm gonna stick with the 2 tablespoons. And then because my husband likes things spicy, I'm going to add in the sriracha. I do about a tablespoon of sriracha. And then I'm just gonna do that for each jar. I'm only doing 3 jars here, but you could certainly do more depending on how many salads you wanna have throughout the week. Now you could do a bunch of different types of dressing. This is just what he likes, so that's what I'm gonna make. Then I'm going to take my cucumbers, since those are kind of moist. I'm gonna put those at the bottom of the jar. I cut up about a full cucumber. It was a smaller cucumber, but this should be good for the 3 jars. Then I'm gonna take the black and pinto beans that I have already made and put those in there at the bottom, and it should create a nice layer that should keep the dressing from touching the salad itself, but also will allow the beans to soak up the dressing a little bit more, so that's more flavorful. I think I'm gonna do 1 jar just pinto beans and 1 jar just black beans, and then 1 jar a mixture, so that it's kind of different each day, so you're not getting the same flavor or same salad each day. And it's probably about a half a cup of pinto beans and a half a cup of black beans in total that I have here. So you can see what that looks like. The dressing's down here, and then you've got the cucumbers, and then you've got the beans. Now I'm gonna add in my green peppers. I cut up about 3/4 of a green pepper, and now I'm gonna put in my carrots. You could also add in tomatoes at the bottom with the wet ingredients. So now your jar should be about halfway full with your toppings and different ingredients there. And then we're gonna take the mixed greens and put them in the jar. Now you could do romaine lettuce as well. I just like the mixed greens because that's what I have on hand, but also has a little bit more vitamins and nutrients. The dark leafy greens are better for you. And then I'm gonna go ahead and secure on the lid. Now you could do less toppings and more salad, or you could do what I did, which is about half and half ratio. Sometimes I like to add in rice to this so that it's a little bit more filling. You could do quinoa as well, because that has protein. You could do chickpeas instead of beans. And then when you're ready to eat this, all you do is shake up the jar. And then the dressing should coat all of the ingredients that you have in the jar pretty well. So there's what it looks like. And then for dinners, we're gonna be doing sort of like a Buddha bowl. So you're gonna take some brown rice or rice that you have. You could also do quinoa if you want. And we're gonna make about a cup brown rice. And I'm gonna be doing this in a rice cooker so that way I can be making other things while this cooks and I don't have to worry about checking on it. So I'm gonna add in a cup of rice. Okay, and then you're gonna take a not beef bouillon cube and you're gonna add that in with the rice just to give it some extra flavor. So I'll take one of these and then do 2 cups of water in it, and then I'll just set it and it'll be good to go. And then I'm just gonna mix it up a little bit just so that it's not all stuck in one place and it's kind of distributed throughout the water. That should be good. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on and set it for brown rice. Okay, and so to go with the brown rice, we're gonna be cooking some soy curls and also some TVP. So these don't take very long to cook, maybe like 10 minutes. So I'm gonna let this cook for about 20 minutes and then I'll start working on these. But you could also start working on cutting up any vegetables or anything that you want to add in there. This whole process doesn't take very long. Really, you're just waiting for the rice to cook itself. So, all right, so the rice maker is just about finished here. So what I did was I cut up some mushrooms and some onions that we're gonna cook up along with our TVP and the soy curls. So I'm just gonna take a deep pan here, and since I'm gonna be doing 2 cups of the TVP, I think I'm gonna do about 1/4 a cup of water and see if we need to add more as time goes on. And I've got the pan on medium-high heat. Okay, and the rice maker just went off, so add that and let that heat up. And then for the soy curls, I'm gonna take a pan like this. So a serving size is 3/4 cup, and that is about 10 grams of protein. So I think I'm just gonna do 2 serving sizes. So that's about how much I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna put enough water in this to slightly cover the soy curls. Okay, so about right there. And I'm gonna put this on medium-high heat. And then I'm going to add in some liquid smoke to the soy curls. I'm gonna do about a tablespoon. And then I'm gonna add some Montreal chicken seasonings. So these seasonings are completely vegan. They're just spices. So I'm gonna add in some of the seasoning just to season up the soy curls because they soak up the flavoring really well. I'm just gonna cook this until it's soaked up all of the fluid in the pan. So that should be about like 5 minutes or so. Okay, so this is starting to warm up here. Go ahead and add in 2 cups. Just want to rehydrate the TVP a little bit. It doesn't need to be soaking like the Soy Curls are. Similar to the Soy Curls, these soak up a lot of flavor, so I'm gonna add in some flavoring. I'm gonna add in a little bit of liquid aminos, about a tablespoon. And then I have this Weber garlic jalapeno seasoning that I'll add on as well. You can use this however you like it. You can see it's soaked up that water. It's almost like ground turkey. And then here are the Soy Curls soaking up that water. Okay, and this is pretty much done. So here are my dishes that I'm using. I'm gonna go ahead and open up my rice maker and add the rice into these. I'm gonna do about a half a cup per serving. Again, you could do less depending on your macros. And then I'm going to add the TVP to this. I'm gonna do a cup per serving, and then I'm gonna have leftover here to use on other dishes throughout the week. And sorry guys, I don't know what happened to the rest of the footage, but basically what you're gonna do is just like you added on the TVP, you'll just add the Soy Curls that you cooked up, as well as the other vegetables that you've cut and cooked if you would prefer that. But thanks for watching, I appreciate it. If you have any questions or suggestions, I'd love to see that in the comments below, and I hope you have a great day.